Hey everyone, it's Tracy here with a video tutorial on how to make a shaker card. So first, this is the card that was on the Lawnscaping Challenge for the pattern paper challenge. And I'm going to be making a card very similar to that, only with a winter theme. So I'm going to be using the Fawn Sweet Christmas stamp set and then the 6x6 paper pad. And you also need, I'm using the Spellbinders Label 1, but you could use any shape such as a circle or an oval or whatever shape you want. You also need some foam, and this is just the cheap craft foam. It doesn't even matter what color, it can be any one because it's going to be hidden. So I went ahead and stamped the house from the Sweet Christmas stamp set onto just a piece of white cardstock that I cut using that Spellbinders label, and I used Tuxedo Black Memento ink since I will be using Copics to color it in, and then I used the little snowflake with some blue ink around the edges of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and color in all my images with Copic markers. So I have them all colored in and cut out, the two trees and a gingerbread man. And those are the Copics that I used. So you might just want to pause your screen in case you want to use the same ones. But those are the ones I used to color in all of the images. So I'm just going to cut a piece of my foam out, just a square, so that it's a little bit bigger than my die because I'll have to cut that out, and you want that to be the same size as your square that you already cut out. So the shape that has the house on it, you want those two to be the same size. So I'm just going to run it through my Cuttlebug, and it's just the same as paper. You don't need like any shims or a different sandwich pattern. And I apologize for the camera moving while I was doing that. So then that cuts out your foam square. And then you're going to take the next size down of your die so that it's one smaller. And you're just going to line it up and place it on there. And you're just going to run that through your Cuttlebug again. And then you have the little frame, and that's the part that you're going to be using on the card. See, it's going to go just around the outside edge like that. And then I grabbed a piece of clear acetate, and I'm going to, that's the same size as the large square that we've been using for the paper and the foam to begin with. And you could use just a piece of plastic from like a packaging or something also. In this you might need to put a shim in with it because mine didn't actually cut out all the way. I had to use scissors to cut part of it. So now I'm going to use my Tombow Mono Multi-Glue to put glue all along the edge of the foam piece. You want to make sure that it's fully covered so that there's no open spaces because you don't want your sequins or confetti to fall out. But you also want to make sure that you don't really get glue on the inside edge because otherwise all of your sequins are going to stick to it and they're not going to move around. So I just used my finger to make sure that it was fully covered. And then I went ahead and laid that right on top of my stamp piece. And you just want to make sure that it's lined up so that it doesn't stick out. And then I grab my sequins, and I'm just going to put a little pile of them right in the middle of that square so that it's not touching the outside edges, just in case I did get glue on that inside edge, because otherwise they're really going to stick to it and they're not going to move at all because they're going to be glued down. And you can choose as many or as few sequins as you want. I just put like a few pinches of them. Alright, and then I put glue along the top edge of the foam piece. And then you want to do the same thing and just smear it around and make sure that it doesn't get on the inside edge. And then you can lay your clear acetate piece on top of that and set it aside to dry completely before you add it, or until you finish making your card. Alright, so then I'm going to keep working on the rest of my card base. I picked a pattern paper from that Fawn paper pack, and I'm just going to cut that down so that it fits onto an A2 size card base. I cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then I'm just going to round the edges using a 1/4 inch corner rounder. And then you want to take your metal die, and that is the smaller of the two that you used before. And actually I kind of messed it up because you should use the one smaller than that. But as you can see, it's too small and you can't really see very much of my image. And the reason you want to do that is because with my card you can see a little bit of the foam. I tried to hide it as much as I could and you really can't see it, but just in case you want to use the smaller one. So then I'm just going to go ahead and tape down that die into the middle of the pattern paper, but towards the top. And you're just going to run that through your Cuttlebug to cut the shape out. And then you can set that shape aside and use it for a different card. But that is how it's going to go. The shaker part is going to go behind that. So now I'm just going to stamp my image, and I'm going to use the Have a Sweet Christmas from the Sweet Christmas stamp set as well. And I actually decided to stamp one because it's a split sentiment, so I'm just going to stamp one at a time so that they're straight. I had inked the whole thing up, but I decided that one of them was crooked, so then I was going to do it one at a time, like I said. And I'm just using Tuxedo Black Memento ink on that. And then I'm just going to take some of my twine and tie a bow around the bottom part of that. And I always find it easy to just take the two pieces and tape them both to the back and then tie a separate bow onto there. And trim the edges off so that they are even. And then I'm going to go ahead and put glue around the outside edge of my shaker part. And technically I should have probably waited longer because I don't know that it was fully dry, so you might want to wait a couple hours before you actually finish it. But I'm just going to go ahead and then put that, glue it right onto my card front. And then I'm going to put the gingerbread man right in front. Okay, so now I'm going to attach it to my card base, and I'm going to use foam dots to adhere it on all four corners, and then right below the shaker part. And then on the shaker part, I just use an adhesive runner. You want to use the foam dots because the thickness of the shaker part is as thick as your foam dots. Otherwise, it's going to leave a really weird bubble if you just use an adhesive runner on those parts. Alright, so there's our completed card. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.